A warm welcome to this week's first edition of Primetime News with me, Joy Gosses. Leading our bulletin tonight, we begin in the capital, where 3 suspects aged 30, 40 and 50 were arrested in connection with the alleged breaking of the Katutura Magistrate Court between Thursday and Saturday. More on this story by Elvia Yambo.
A weekend crime report issued by the Namibian Police Force spokesperson Deputy Commissioner Kaona Shikwambi on Sunday said it was discovered around 7:30 on Friday morning when employees of the court reported for duty that unknown suspects had entered the premises by climbing over the wall and damaging a glass door through which they gained access into the building. The suspects reportedly broke into 7 offices where they stole laptops, including one belonging to a magistrate and another belonging to a public prosecutor, as well as a computer monitor and a CPU. The suspect used chairs in the building to climb on and break windows of offices in order to gain access, the report said. According to the report, officers pursued and circled the surrounding of the court to ensure that the suspect does not escape until the early hours of Sunday morning when he tried to flee from the court building. Warning shots were fired to stop him from fleeing, but he allegedly persisted and later was shot and wounded. The suspect, who is currently admitted in the Katutura State Hospital, was allegedly found in possession of 2 stolen laptops, and his arrest led to the arrest of the second accomplice.
A 37-year-old woman living with a disability at the Rundu Sauyemwa informal settlement, Anna Edward and her child, received shelter made out of corrugated iron sheets, valued at 60,000 Namibian dollars from Kweseka Fishing Company based in Rundu on Friday. Sawi Hausiku compiled this report.
One of the company's directors, Pastor Johannes Ngondo, told Nampa on Saturday that Kweseka Fishing applied for fishing rights in 2018 and was one of the companies from the 2 Kavango regions to be awarded fishing rights. Ngondo added that prior to the donation, the family had been living in a house made from clay, which was very hazardous as it almost fell on them, a situation that prompted the fishing firm to build the house for the destitute family. Appreciating the gesture, Edward, who does not walk properly, took this agency through her ordeal, saying she became disabled when she was in grade 1. She further thanked the company for coming to their rescue by providing them with a better roof over their heads. In April, the company also donated a corrugated iron house to a San family at Hamwei village in the Kavango West region. Ngondo said the company will continue to conduct community needs assessments in consultation with community leaders as their key partners in order to assist where they can.
Cabinet has directed the Immigration Ministry to enter into an agreement with the Burundian government and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, which will expedite the voluntary repatriation of Burundian refugees in Namibia.
The ministry has since been directed to enter into an agreement by penning exchange letters with Burundi and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees regional representatives to pave way for the voluntary return of Burundian refugees from Namibia safely and with their dignity intact. Earlier this year, Deputy Home Affairs, Immigration Safety and Security Minister Daniel Kashikola, while tabling his ministry's budget, indicated that out of their 5.7 billion Namibia dollars budget, 11.2 million Namibia dollars is reserved for the management of refugees in the country. At the time, Kashikola highlighted that the government is in engagement with the government of Burundi, Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees to find amicable solutions to those countries' nationals who continue to flee to find a home in Namibia. He said Namibia continues to receive asylum seekers on a daily basis as the country hosts about 7,500 asylum seekers and refugees, mostly from the Great Lake regions, entering the country through Zambezi's regional capital, Katima Mulilo. In the meantime, while some of the refugees come straight from their home countries, other mainly nationals of DRC, Burundi, Rwanda are coming from South Africa due to xenophobic attacks. Kashikola said engagements with the governments of Burundi, Rwanda and the DRC are being done to facilitate the smooth repatriations of those refugees willing to go back home. Josephine Simeon, Nampa News.
Shifting our attention to the south, where Xara's governor, Alieta Frederick, said it is the duty of each and every citizen to ensure that natural resources, public assets and human capital in the region are used to fairly enhance the lives and livelihoods of the region's inhabitants. She highlighted these sentiments in a recent State of the Region address. Suzette Chitara has more on the story.
Delivering her second State of the Region address, in which she highlighted the region's challenges and achievements during the 2020-2021 financial year, Xara's governor Alieta Frederick said these resources must be used to drive economic growth and to develop sustainable industries that can lead to the total eradication of poverty and unemployment. The proceeds derived from the natural resources extracted from the region must also benefit the inhabitants of this region, she said. The governor said during the 2020-2021 financial year, about 481,000 Namibia dollars was spent on the provision of basic sanitation at Aus settlement and 20 toilets were constructed. She said 1 million Namibia dollars was allocated for the construction of water reticulation for a rural development center at Sneyfontein in the Beersheba community. About 7,071 people in the region received grants from the government through the Ministry of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare. The governor said during the period under review, an amount of 33 million Namibia dollars was used to renovate ablution facilities at various schools and government school hostels, costing 21 million Namibia dollars, while a brand new primary school at Valgras was constructed at a cost of 114 million Namibia dollars. Renovation of 5.2 million Namibia dollars of police barracks in Keetmanshoop was done during the period under review, while about 11.2 million Namibia dollars was used to construct police barracks at Arawab, and a further 56 million Namibia dollars was allocated for the construction of a police station at Noord Duver settlement, which is expected to be completed in February 2022. Josephine Simeon, Nampa News.
Stand by for your top roundup.
Welcome wherever you are on Planet Football.
You can go anywhere in the world, but nobody feels football like we do.
And they sing, they dare to sing.
It's a rhythm.
A 1-2.
1-1-2. Football.
La football.
Soccer.
1-2.
That moves us.
Salah to settle it. There's no feeling like that feeling.
It's so nice. It's so nice.
Nothing compares to DSTV's unbeatable football offering. So stay connected to watch the best football on the planet.
And now a look at what's the latest in the world of business and economics. Zambezi Governor Lawrence Sampofu said that communal conservancies in the region generated over 14.4 million Namibian dollars during the 2020-2021 financial year compared to 25 million Namibian dollars generated in the 2019-2020 financial year. The governor made these remarks in his recent State of the Region address. Rodney Pina compiled this report.
Speaking during the State of the Region address recently, Sampofu said, with the diverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, a decrease in income by conservancies was recorded and no tangible projects were implemented during the period under review. 10 new jobs were created in Zambezi conservancies, and the job categories range from fish guards, game guards, and secretaries. He added that trade in forest products from community forests generated 200,000 Namibia dollars, and community forest officers received donations of furniture and information technology equipment to the value of 273,150 Namibia dollars after the completion of constructed offices. The Sikajabuka Community Forest received donations of 4.5 million Namibia dollars to support climate change resilience through agroforestry initiatives and nursery establishments. Furthermore, Sampofu said that the Multipurpose Youth Resource Center has embarked on skills training by providing short computer and tailoring courses to the out-of-school and unemployed youth, most of whom do not meet the basic admission requirements for conventional vocational training centers.
Moving on to international news. The World Bank and the COVAX Global Vaccine Distribution Program unveiled today a financing mechanism to speed the supply of doses to developing countries, where COVID-19 inoculation rates lag far behind those of richer nations.
The World Bank's agreement with COVAX, which is backed by the World Health Organization and the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, will help low and middle-income countries access additional doses of vaccines on top of the fully subsidized doses they are already receiving. Only 1.1% of people in these countries have received at least one dose, compared to 26.9% of the total world population, according to figures from World Data. The new agreement calls for countries that already have World Bank-approved vaccines procurement projects to request vaccine purchases through COVAX and ask the World Bank to pay the cost on their behalf using the existing project financing. COVAX recently cleared the way for 92 low- and middle-income countries to purchase their own vaccine doses, in addition to receiving shipments paid for by other donors. COVAX plans to make available up to 430 million additional vaccine doses under the AMC program through late 2021 and mid-2022. Countries will have the opportunity to select and commit to procuring specific vaccines aligned with their preferences under the AMC program.
We will be back after the business and economics roundup.
We were born for this moment. For every rise, every fall, to make the impossible possible. To create moments that inspire and live the thrill of excellence.
On the grandest stage of all.
Forget the past, for the future awaits. This is that moment we've all been waiting for pride, for country, for you.
Brilliant performance that was.
The Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. It's go time on GoTV. Love it.
That's all the top news we had for you this evening. Kindly stand by for your sports update with Salima Shimafileni.
Thank you, Joy. Good evening and welcome to Sport Planet. We begin with Olympic news. Namibian cyclist in the male road race at the Olympic Games, Tristan de Lange, said competing at the event on Saturday taught him a number of things that he will apply to his cycling career. The rescheduled 2020 Olympic Games are currently underway in Tokyo, Japan, where Team Namibia is competing in 5 different sports codes, namely cycling, boxing, athletics, swimming, as well as rowing. Hesron Kapanga, our sports journalist, compiled this report.
The 24-year-old Namibian, who is a current African champion in mountain bike and is a replacement for Dan Craven in the road race after the veteran cyclist tested positive for COVID-19, told Nampa on Saturday that being at the Olympics is a massive experience for him. De Lange said, "This was one of my big days, apart from being my Olympic debut. It was also my debut doing road racing at this level. I have only raced with a road bike at the African Games and the Commonwealth Games, so this was new with a lot of new faces, strategies and tactics that can be implemented next time." The cyclist added that he wished he had more than a week to prepare for the Games. The young cyclist, who was pulled out the race after training behind the broom wagon, with 122 kilometers to go to a 234-kilometer race, after being unable to make it to the finish line with the permitted time, stated that he is happy to have ridden for his country at the global competition, and it put him and the country on the map. Axel Thijssen, the president of the Namibian Cyclists Federation, told this agency on Saturday that De Lange did Namibia proud at the Olympics. He added that going forward as a country, and from the federal side, is to put the structures in place in grooming cyclists from an early age, so that come next Olympics in France, they will be able to compete at their utmost best.
Your sports roundup is up next.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. See, James has always watched football wherever he can. Sometimes it got awkward. It was never really comfortable. And finding a good place to watch became more and more difficult, not to mention costly. Traveling for his games took its toll on James until he discovered something big. Now that James has GoTV, he can finally enjoy the perks of Home Ground Advantage. Good for you, James. Get Home Ground Advantage with GoTV. With superstar players competing in the world's biggest leagues and cup competitions, you'll be spoiled for football choice. So get and stay connected to GoTV for the best football season yet. GoTV. Love it.
And with that, we've come to the end of Monday's installment. We thank you for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share, and click on the notifications bell to stay up to date with the latest happenings locally and globally. Do make a date with us tomorrow for your dose of primetime news. From myself, Selima Shumwe Feleni, and the entire crew behind the scenes, it's good night.